Hey, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Clay Wilkerson. I'm the Director for Transfer and Dual Enrollment at Carson-Newman University. And my associate's here with me too, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Clay. My name is Jamie Hamer. I work with Clay in the Office of Admissions and serve as the transfer admissions representative. I also cover Western North Carolina and pretty much anywhere in the state of North Carolina and South Carolina as far as transfers and your interest in Carson-Newman.
When things settle down and get back to normal, you may see Jamie or myself around your community college campus. We do hope that you'll come and say hello. We'd love to talk to you and get to know you and help you explore some of the options that you have. You know, I was a transfer student myself, so I kind of know that situation you're going through. And I don't presume that your situation is exactly like mine, but in my family, I was a first generation high school graduate and a first generation college student. So my local community college really was the best place for me to get started on my journey. But I knew I was going to have to continue on after that point. And that really came with a lot of questions and apprehensions for me. So anytime I'm doing a presentation to transfers, I always try to frame those around some of those questions. If you have others, we definitely want to hear from you. We want to know what we can do to help, questions that we can answer for you, or other things that are on your mind. For me in particular, in my transfer search, it really came down to a few different things. Affordability, that was a big question. I mean, I was a Pell Grant student and worked full time and went to school to kind of make it happen. If you don't have to do that, that's awesome. I hope that you don't. But that was kind of my journey, and that affordability piece was a really big part of it for me. There are some tricks that you can know as a transfer student that can really help you maximize your aid potential when you go somewhere else. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Transferability of credit. I mean, you work so hard at community college to earn those credits. It's a college just like anywhere else, and some schools will or won't take your credits. We have a pretty open transfer policy for that, and we'll be talking about that and some ways that you can maximize that and find that out really early. And also just the question of, well, will I fit in there? You know, if I go to this school, is it the right fit for me? Or what does it mean that it's a Christian school? What does it mean that it's a private school? Um, is it going to be is it going to be the right fit for me? So we're going to try to cover some of those things and help introduce you to Carson-Newman today. So I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit with you just so you can kind of get a picture of what Carson-Newman is like and some things that we have to offer.
And I do want to add, Clay, before you get started, that not only do I cover the areas of North Carolina and South Carolina, I am actually my hometown is actually Asheville, North Carolina. So I am, even though I did not follow the path that Clay did as far as attend community college and then transfer, I went the traditional route, but I attended a school in Tennessee. And just so that you know, I did that without the burden of out-of-state tuition. And that's something that Clay will talk more about during this presentation. So yes, we're from Tennessee, but no, we would not hamstring you with a bunch of extra costs when it comes down to attending school out of state. Take it away, Clay.
Thank you so much. Well, if you can see my screen, this is the front of our Maddox Student Activities Center. It's one of the big hubs on campus for student hangouts and lots of things to do. Our campus post office, residence life is there. The field house for all the basketball games and other home athletic events connect to there. We've got an Olympic-sized pool in there, 3 gyms, a workout center for students, Chick-fil-A. So if you're a Chick-fil-A person, you want some of the words chicken, we got it right there on campus. Our campus post office is there, and there's a lot there to check out and do. And these are some of our actual students, and we asked them to come up with a fun shot for us, and this is what we got. But it's definitely something we'd love for you to come to campus and see. Since you are coming from out of state, you might not be familiar with where we are. We're in Jefferson City. And if that doesn't immediately ring a bell, if you know where Dollywood is, or if you know where Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, that area is, we're about 20 minutes away from all of that stuff. So it's in a great area. It's a quiet little town that's sandwiched between 2 lakes. So there's a lot of outdoorsy things to do if that's kind of your thing. If it's not, there's definitely a lot of downtown action that's available in Knoxville, which is just down the road from us. A lot of things to do in Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge area. So it's a really neat community to be in. It's quiet enough that you're able to study and be there to focus and not feel like you're in an unsafe place. But it's also next to a lot of things that are really fun to do. And there's a lot of fun on campus as well. We've been here since 1851. It closed briefly during the Civil War, but we were able to reopen right after that. Um, our current student enrollment has actually gone up slightly from this count. We're at just under 3,000 students. So we're big enough that you have a variety of opinions and backgrounds that are going to be in the classroom with you, but small enough that you're going to know people in your major really well, and your faculties are really going to know you as a person. They're going to know your name, know your story, what your interest is in. And that's something that makes our educational experience a little bit different. Even though we're a private university, you never have to worry, am I seat 400 in this lecture hall, and they're never going to know who I am. We have about 14 students in most of our classes, especially in the major. That's around the average. So you're really going to get to know your faculty really well. There's 70 campus organizations. We've got 19 varsity sports, but all that perhaps doesn't say the story as well as this little video I'd like to share with you, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, Clay, did you?
Is it not sharing?
Did you say something? You were breaking up there, my friend.
Can you see the video?
Yes. Oh, no, I can't.
Well, I hope the video was kind of helpful to you just to get an idea of what Carson-Newman is like. And we'll certainly have a presentation, a copy of this that's available to you as we kind of finish our presentation and our time together today. A couple of things I think that are good for you to know is just kind of like you saw there, there's so many things to do that are around campus that really make it a fun place, but it's also a really quality place to pursue your education. So one of the things that is a little unique, and we're pretty proud of that, is in a year where, especially throughout our state, most schools were down 10% or more. We actually were very fortunate to be able to welcome a record class, especially a record number of transfer students. So there's definitely a lot of things that have been done on campus to make it a lot more user friendly, a lot more transfer student friendly. And that's one of the things that we continue to really be proud of is, at a time where we're all having to scramble and do things really differently, we were still able to welcome a record number of new students. We've been a Tennessee College of Distinction. We've been a top 10 best schools in Tennessee. We were ranked number 38 out of 900 of the best Christian schools in America. So to be in the top 50 of that list is pretty impressive. And we were also ranked as the top undergraduate teaching institution and a top 10 best value in the nation. So that's one of the things that makes us a really interesting school. And sometimes people have the impression, well, it's a private school, I'm going to come in there and they're going to be like, well, be gone, poor person, have some caviar on the way out so you can try it. And that was kind of my fear looking at it. And it was nothing at all like that when I actually came down to coming to Carson-Newman and seeing what that was like. We do have about 50 different majors on campus. Some of our most popular are education, nursing, anything in the School of Business. So with the School of Business itself, there are several different majors. There's accounting, there's finance, economics, there's general management, sports management, um, and a marketing emphasis. So you're really able to tailor your business acumen toward the part of it that you're the most interested in while becoming a really well-rounded student. With education, we've got licensure in any area that you can think of, whether that's pre-K through 3, K through 5, SPED, or any of the secondary areas. All of our teacher licensing students have left employed the last couple of years, so that's something we're really excited about. And 100% of our nursing graduates have left employed. So that's a really good return on investment in looking at what we do and doing that in a unique way. We also have a big pre-med program. And sometimes people are surprised by that. They're like, aren't you a smallish kind of Christian liberal arts school? But we do have a full cadaver lab on campus. And that gives our med students the opportunity to do some things that they otherwise wouldn't until they actually entered into grad school. So it really gives you an opportunity, and you're not going to kill them. I mean, they're already dead. So that's the good thing that's about that. If you actually want to come take a campus tour, we can set that up that you can see the cadaver lab and meet with pre-med faculty as a part of that. Computer science is a newer program, but it has two majors for us. We have more like a pathway where if you want to be like the office or factory or school IT director, we have a pathway for that. And we also have one that's more traditional hard programming. So we can definitely kind of work with you in that regard. Communication, psychology, biology, religion, all of those are fairly large majors at Carson-Newman, and we would love to have you check that out and learn more about that. If the majors that you're most interested in didn't hit my list of like the most popular ones right now, you're welcome to check out all of our programs online. You can do that at this link, and we'll make sure this presentation is available. Or if you visit our website, cn.edu, and click our available programs, you'll be able to see all of that there. One of the big questions that I told you I was worried about was, am I going to lose credit? You hear these horror stories where people say, I've worked so hard and I've earned this associate degree, I've earned all this credit, and XYZ school down the road didn't take any of it, or they made me retake gen eds because they felt like theirs were better. One of the things that we've done to become more transfer friendly is a few years ago, we initiated a proposal that came out of our office that any Associate of Arts or Associate of Science degree should transfer in full, which would make you an automatic junior and fulfill what we call our liberal arts core, which you might call your general ed core requirements, with the exception of 3 classes. One of those is a 1-hour class that you take for 8 weeks during your first semester with us. It helps you get adjusted to being at Carson-Newman. It explores our 5 big ideas, which are faith, goodness, truth, beauty, and justice. And it also courses on campus, like the store. What the store is, it's not a place you actually go to spend money, so that can kind of be a tricky thing. But if you're experiencing food scarcity, if you're short and you can't afford deodorant or personal care items like that, or if you need clothes for a job interview or something of that nature, they have all of that available for free. It makes you aware of that, the counseling center on campus, that we have a doctor on campus and how to be seen by them for free. So it goes through some of those campus resources and also some of the big ideas about what makes Carson-Newman special and kind of different. And also, as we are a Christian school, everybody before they graduate takes Old Testament introduction and New Testament introduction. I'm actually an instructor for some of those classes as well, so I can answer any specific questions you have. But sometimes people look at that and they say, well, are you going to beat me up with a study Bible if I don't agree with what you're looking at, or if I don't have any religious beliefs, or if mine are different from that? That's okay. This is about education. You don't have to have a specific point of view to do really well in those classes. Most of us are what we call historical critical scholars. So what we do is we go through the history, the background, the world at that time, and we understand what the original audience would from that document. And we talk about, the claims of it. We talk about how people might view it. And we have some really great discussions in those classes. So if you have any concerns about that, that's definitely something we want to talk to you about, just so that you kind of understand where we're coming from and what that might look like for us. But other than that, your gen ed core is going to be met, and you're just going to be taking things towards your major or potentially a double major if that's something you're interested in. One of the cool things about our programs is, for majors, like if you're interested in social services type careers, we have a human services degree, and a lot of our graduates go on to work for things like the Department of Children's Services or other agencies. That one is really easy to do a double major with, especially if you come in with an associate's. If you're planning to transfer without an associate's degree, please go ahead and let Jamie or myself know, and we'd love to look at your transcript. Our general policy is that we will receive your class on a course-by-course basis with the closest equivalent course at Carson-Newman. So we try to minimize your loss of credit as much as possible, and most students really don't experience any. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, you pretty much covered it. Yeah, but we are very I will say, open to helping you in any opportunity, especially if you're still weighing your options and you're just not sure what's going to be the best fit for you in terms of the college that you're seeking. There is no commitment or obligation when you submit an application or you send us your transcript, and we'll be happy to even evaluate an unofficial transcript. All you have to do is just email either Clay or myself. We will certainly examine it and provide you with a variety of options for you And even if you've got any questions, particularly about certain classes, just we're here to help. So definitely give us the chance to help you and to service you to the best of our ability, but also to make the whole transfer experience a positive one.
And we can start on that as early in your journey as you want. So some of the things some people have questions about is, well, when do I start talking to you about my transfer? Is it right before I come? Is it, when I'm just going out of high school, first semester in community college? And the answer is anytime that you're ready. It's not uncommon for us to work with students 2 or even 3 years before they actually transfer. So that's something that the better, more we have the opportunity to serve you, the more service that we can provide. So never be shy about that or reaching out. The other piece that I think is so important is, can I afford it? Even if I'm interested in going to a school like this, that's one of the things that we all have to answer questions about. We have a transfer merit scholarship program, and what we offer is based on your community college GPA, your transferable GPA, and whatever your GPA is, your previous institution. That's how we look at that on your transcript. So we're going to look at that and base an academic merit scholarship that's fully renewable. That'll be the starting point of your aid offer each year. It's strictly GPA based. So if you have 2.0 to 2.49, that's 6,000 a year. If you have 2.5 to 299, you'll get 8,000 a year. 3.0 to 3.79 is 10,000 a year. And 3.8 to 4.0 is 12,000 a year as the starting point of your aid offer each year. If you do have the opportunity at your institution to join something like Phi Theta Kappa, for example, that's a National Honor Society for 2-year schools, you get an additional $1,000 a year award stacked on top of that. Now, one of the things that's kind of nice about this, it is awarded upon the time of your admission, but that's a fully renewable starting point to your aid offer each year. So it's not going to, let's say if you came in at 3.0 at the end of your second year, you dip down to 2.9, your scholarship's not going to be reduced. So that's one of the things that's really nice about that we want to make sure that you know. We also accept federal aid programs. So, about 60% of our students are Pell Grant recipients, and about that same proportion are first generation college students. So there's definitely a lot of students on campus who qualify for need-based aid, and they qualify for that through the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we kind of roll through. But we do participate in the federal SEOG grant, and we also have a huge work study program on campus. If you're not familiar with what work study is, that's where you actually have a job working on campus. So for example, we have 20 some students that work in the Office of Admission, and they kind of help us with data entry. They give tours. They do a lot of things, and they actually earn money toward their tuition that way. And if they don't have work to do, they can study on the clock and still get paid. So that's one of the things that can really help you, especially as a transfer student. You might not be familiar with that as an opportunity. There are tons of other scholarships at Carson-Newman. So some of those are donor-based, some of those are tied to specific majors. Like if you're into art or graphic design or photography, they might have you submit a portfolio. Or if you're thinking about music education and being a music major, they might want you to audition to help you find as many scholarships as possible that are kind of based on your talent and on your background. If you're interested in bass fishing, we have a competitive bass fishing team that comes with some scholarships. If you're just interested in doing good things in the community, programs like the Faith and Justice Scholars or Eagles Engage give you the opportunity to do that and to get engaged in a meaningful way, but also to receive a financial award for doing that. If either of your parents happens to be a minister or a missionary, there's a scholarship for that as well. And there's many, many more. One of the other things that makes us a little bit unique as an institution is we do house an Army ROTC program. So if that's something that you're interested in exploring as a transfer, you could graduate debt-free as a second lieutenant in the United States Army, and you'd have a service commitment that usually is about 4 to 6 years, depending on how your contract looks. And you'll be coming out of college with a great career with no debt and making a pretty good salary as a second lieutenant. So that's a great option that we have. And our ROTC program is about 50% female and 50% medical. So we do have a lot of Army doctors and nurses that are doing training with us, but it's something we would love for you to check out if it's something you're interested in doing. We also want to encourage you to really think about living on campus. With our transfer policies being the way that they are, the likelihood is that you're going to need to, coming from out of state and driving over to Carson-Newman. Some good news. Not only are we not going to change your tuition rate since you're an out-of-state student, you pay the same as anybody else. You actually get priority for a room scholarship. So they'll actually assess you through that financial aid process and the FAFSA to see if we can give you a scholarship to help cover your room. Jamie and I can both tell you if you kind of are worried, well, am I going to suck in the cafeteria? Is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? You can come for a visit and try it out yourself if that's something you want to do. But you know, it's a great food, and the meal plan and the rooms are really affordable and they're nice. They do have different styles of living on campus. We have a traditional dormitory style. None of it is co-ed. It's all single gender, like men's or women's residence halls. And we also have apartment style living. So that's something that we want you to make sure that you know is there. And there's also a lot to do on campus. To give you an idea of what campus is like if you're living here, I want to share another video. Now, Jamie let me know he wasn't able to specifically see the last video. So this might be a little awkward, but I'm going to stop my screen share for a minute and I'm going to share the video directly. So hopefully that will be a little bit of a cleaner fit for you. Jamie, can you see the video? Perfect. All right, guys, this is from Welcome Week from 2019. Of course, Welcome Week 2020 was a little different. We all are getting used to different and wearing masks and things being different. But this represents what I think a typical first week at Carson-Newman looks like. Hey, and Jamie did let me know that some of y'all may not have been able to hear the sound. I'm not sure. We appear to be having some issues with the sound kind of coming and going. So if you could not hear the sound on that, I am super sorry for that. And we definitely want to make sure that that's available to you. Jamie, my Zoom is a bit froze, so I'm just going to try this again. I do apologize for your wait. So I hope you could see, at least get a picture of campus itself is a pretty fun place. So even though it's a small community, it's a little bit rural and remote. There's a lot to do, and you're not going to come to campus and be bored. They have a great intramural program where they have probably 300 events a year, and that could be anything from stuff like the Hunger Games. It's all Nerf, so nobody dies. It actually raises a lot of money for charity to Mud Ball, which is a mud pit volleyball tournament. And that's always a lot of fun. It was one of my favorites as a student, and it's one that's continued to kind of live on, you know, to this point during the day. A couple of other really cool ones that are out there. They also have the opportunity for mission trips. So that's something that makes it a little bit unique. Some majors and schools have their own mission trip programs, and these are usually low to no cost for the students. I know the School of Education and all their programs usually goes to Guatemala or Ecuador, and they have some partner institutions they work with. There's a trip to Oxford. We actually have an Oxford Studies minor if that's something that you really want to do, and you can spend a semester at Oxford and earn that minor at no extra cost. It's just like you would be coming to Carson-Newman, with the exception of a plane ticket is really your only extra cost for that. I know that our medical programs have partnered with several different agencies, such as the Baptist Medical Relief Board They've been to Haiti, they've been to Nepal, and actually got to do some on the ground care. So there are some really cool opportunities that we partner with institutions to make happen for our students and to make sure that they get a truly global experience that prepares them to go out from Carson-Newman and to do some really great things. A couple of other things that are neat for you to know, we really want you to find your fit. That's a big part of what finding college and being successful there is about. And with the organizations that we have on campus, with what we try to do to integrate new transfer students, we don't want you to be lonely and feel like you're just going to be sitting there in your dorm room. So there are some things built in to really help you get plugged in and find things that you're interested in and find people you like and people who like you. And that can be through the community life and worship program, through some of the events and intramurals and fun things that we kind of shared. We would love for you to check that out. Sometimes people also have questions about the admission process itself. We tried to make ours have basically no barriers to it. Our application is completely free and it's available online at cn.edu/apply. If you go to our website, cn.edu, you'd see the apply now link in the left-hand side. And you should be able to complete that in about 10 minutes. So other than your transcript, other than your application, what we'd actually just need is your college transcript and we can get you evaluated for admission. We're already making admissions decisions for the fall 2020 semester, but we have a rolling admission process, so you're not going to miss any critical deadlines. The one thing that we do want to say is, as far as when you can apply, earlier is better, especially at schools like us that don't require an essay, that don't have a cost to their admissions application. Go ahead and put it out there, because the earlier we have your information, the earlier we have your transcript, and the earlier we have your FAFSA, the more overall aid that we can find for you and things we can do to help. There are some scholarship programs that are first come, first serve. So getting your name at the top of the list by applying early and completing those steps early is the best thing you can do to really help yourself. If you do want to come for a visit, I know everywhere is kind of different right now. We are still doing in-person visits. We have a daily tour every day at 2 o'clock. So you're welcome to come and check that out. That's completely free. You can sign up for that. And we still have one more visit event for the fall, and that is on November 7th. That's a showcase Saturday where we actually have a full faculty fair. It's a little bit restricted this year due to the health conditions that we're all kind of going through. And of course, we would want you to wear a mask, but we would love for you to come and check that out and see what campus is like. And if you feel like it might be a fit, we can connect you with one of the deans or department chairs from the schools at which you're interested in, and they'll be there to talk with you a little bit about your program. It's also a great opportunity to get a free breakfast, to meet our president, and get to take a tour of our campus with your family. We really appreciate your time and you coming today. And I know Jamie probably has some things you wanted to share. And I've got his contact information. Well, I've got his email and my phone number. So you're going to get one of the two of us up there if you contact this slide. But we really do appreciate you coming by. And we really want to know what your questions are, if you have any. And Jamie may have some other things that he'd like to share specifically from his perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job, Clay. We're thrilled to be a part of a great environment. I mean, and it's family friendly, it's student friendly. It's amazing how just to be a part of a community of believers, but also a community of which cares about your best interest and what you want to strive toward. Our faculty we've got such tenured faculty. I mean, they don't leave for a reason, and the same with our staff and everybody involved. So we certainly want to make this transfer experience a positive one for you. I know there's so many options out there, and especially in our bordering states, like where you are in either North Carolina or South Carolina. We're here in Tennessee. We're not so far away to where it's impossible for you to do things and to still have a sense of home life where you are. We're just off a major interstate in Interstate 40. And so we are just miles from places like Knoxville, Chattanooga, and of course, not far away from the Tri-Cities, which consist of Johnson City, Kingsport, and Bristol. So we're your neighbors, and we like to look at it that way. And also, I know amongst the craziness that we're all going through with COVID-19 and just the changes that so many schools have had to make in order to meet your accommodations and to make life smoother and simpler for you. We know that we're hoping that things will change, and that way we can be front and center for you in person, if you will. Maybe not next semester, but maybe next year. And I like to do traveling. So if you would like for me to come out and visit with you, once that opportunity presents itself again, I would